Jackie Aina's weirdo. I said it.
What Patrick Tar has done to Painted by Esther is categorically wrong, and I am not afraid to say it with my chest.
If you feel a way about Patrick Tar, Patrick's cool, but that's your business. It is not my job to fight his battles, and it never will be. If you guys collectively...
But if I were to say that Jackie Aina is basically the Lena Dunham of the black girl makeup community, what then?
My updated pink under eye technique.
The beauty community is in absolute chaos right now after celebrity makeup artist Patrick Tar decided to launch a new blush line that many people believe bites off some techniques popularized by viral makeup artist Painted by Esther. And somehow, Jackie Aina became one of the most talked about people in the entire controversy. Now, the internet is debating, did Patrick copy Esther? And is transition blush even original? But my question is, why are more people more mad at Jackie Aina than at Patrick Tar? And most importantly, what does the situation say about influencer activism, loyalty, and audience expectations? Because honestly, this stopped being just makeup drama a long time ago. Hello everyone, my name is Amanda and this is Amanda Spice, where we turn viral entertainment stories into actual real life lessons. If you enjoy conversations like this, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and do turn on the notification bell. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you who has subscribed. I didn't really think that we would be hitting the 2,000 milestone soon. I think we are just less than 100 subscribers to 2,000 subscribers. I am truly grateful. Thank you so much for your support. That being said, how do we feel about my makeup look? Don't laugh at me, okay? This is my pathetic attempt at trying the viral blush technique. And in this video, I'm gonna credit it to Painted by Esther. I'm sorry, I just had to. Don't laugh at it. And the hair, okay, don't even start. That being said, let's get back into the story. If you have spent any time on beauty TikTok, especially in the past couple of years, chances are you have seen Painted by Esther's work. Esther became known for these soft airbrushed makeup looks where the blush blends seamlessly into the under eye area, creating this flashed watercolor effect that became especially viral on deeper skin tones. A lot of people credit her with modernizing and popularizing this aesthetic online, especially within Black beauty spaces. She has worked with celebrities, influencers, models, and her makeup style became instantly recognizable. Now, importantly, Esther herself has said she did not invent blush draping or gradient blush techniques, and that is actually true. People online have pointed out that variations of these techniques have existed for years in editorial makeup, drag makeup, and Asian beauty communities. But also, the same people are arguing that even if she didn't invent the concept itself, she has helped popularize and brand this modern version of it for today's social media era. That distinction becomes very important later.
That is why what Painted by Esther is doing is so impactful. Because it doesn't just clearly show the skill of a makeup artist, right? It shows resourcefulness. It shows an incredible eye for color theory. And it also shows a level of artistry that transcends the shitty makeup landscape that we still live in to this day. That's why the technique is so revolutionary. And this, in part, is specifically to my Asian audience and to my white Asian obsessed audience. I still think that is a little weird. Because y'all have mentioned Douyin makeup, you mentioned Igari makeup. And I want you to think about the Asian market when it comes to beauty products, which you know because you consume it a lot. And I want you to think about the pigmentation that is required and acceptable to achieve Igari makeup and Douyin makeup. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. And I also want you to understand that the placement for those things is very different than what Painted by Esther does. Okay? I believe Douyin, I'll put some pictures here. Douyin makeup and Igari makeup are right here. It's a beautiful little cloud, a little kiss of color on very pale skin. Regionally, that makes sense. That's totally fine. What Painted by Esther is doing is a wall of color. It is an entire royal flush of color on deep skin. In my eyes, it looks like when you put a flashlight to your fingertip and you can see your skin be almost translucent. It is insane, video game level, flirty skin. I've never, ever seen that before. So to anybody in my comment section being like, this is technique that's been here for years, sure, Kevin Aquan, who Painted by Esther has studied, right? They've all talked about putting blush up to here, but nobody has done it as an entire section of the face. And you know that because you can see it. And the reason why that's so revolutionary is because it is not only done extremely well, it's done on the deepest skin. And that is an achievement in and of itself that is worth celebrating. Because in the year 2026, there are still Black women who go and buy product or attempt to buy product from a brand they want to support, only to A, not find their shade, B, get home with something that looks like it'll work, and then it's weird on their skin tone because it's not formulated with them in mind at all.
Now, when it comes to this blush placement, call it draped blush, transition blush, ombre blush, whatever you would like to call it. It's a prominent trend right now because Painted by Esther made it her signature look, okay? Here is where things get a little tricky and a little weird. The technique of using a powder puff to create that kind of blur and finish is not a new thing amongst pro makeup artists. It's new to you guys as consumers, but amongst pro makeup artists, that's a common knowledge thing. I filmed a Painted by Esther tutorial last year. I used the powder puff. I had never seen her technique before. All of those things can remain true, as well as the fact that Patrick Ta is capitalizing off of her signature look.
They did not credit Painted by Esther. Yes, no one owns the internet, and oftentimes it's very difficult to pinpoint exactly where beauty trends come from, but that is absolutely not the case for the blush trend that has been popularized by Esther.
And this is what I don't like. There's a very big difference between starting something and popularizing something, and a lot of you are starting to act like you don't understand what that means. If you're in the makeup scene, you know very well that Painted by Esther is the major influence in how a lot of people are currently wearing their blushes. Painted by Esther is the reason a lot of people have been looking for that specific blush technique. So to act like you do not understand the influence that this babe has put in the makeup space in terms of blush, you are not being honest, and that's not fair. At first, when this blush conversation started with the Patrick Ta blush, a lot of people were speaking about it from the angle of, oh, we don't need it. But now the conversation has drifted from we don't need the products to, oh my god, why is Esther making it sound like she created blush? She never said that. And I'm so glad she came out to speak for herself and defend herself, because some of you man have completely lost it. Some of you have started making it sound like she was begging Patrick Ta to include her and everything, which is not true. And how do I know that? I watched her video, and in her video she explained it.
Then comes Patrick Ta. Now, Patrick recently launched a new product collection centered around what he calls transition blush, and I put that in quotes. The launch included blush duos, liquid blushes, and tutorials teaching this layered blush placement technique.
So my technique was always blending my color correctors into my concealer to really create this color, but to my transition blush, I wanted all of the formulas to work well together because the under eyes, I wanted them to be light and bright. I realized that there was never actually a product for this step. We use so many different products in order to create this ombre effect underneath the eyes. Of course, you can do this at home with the products that you have, but these products that I designed are intentionally made for this step. For me, Shy at First is one of my favorite shades. I've always been a lover of a beautiful pink under eye. So that's why this like baby pink like screams my name. I love putting pink into my concealers because I just like love that baby doll pink under eye. So I wanted to create other shades that do not come in color correctors, just so that like a wider range of skin tones could really try. Blush for me has always been my favorite step in any makeup application. It's what my brand is rooted in. So over the last year and a half, I started development on transition blushes. What you see in the collection today isn't how this collection started. And I called it transition blush because that's how I use it. I'm gonna take my powder puff. I'm gonna go in with the lighter shade and put this right just into the inner corners of the eyes to really build out that gradient. Both.
And almost immediately, social media started comparing Patrick's campaign to Esther's old videos. People pointed out similarities in number 1, the placement, 2, the aesthetic, 3, the terminology, and even some of the educational language used in tutorials. I mean, at the back of my palm, hello. Then things escalated further when people actually discovered that Patrick Tar Beauty had reportedly trademarked, or rather attempted to trademark, the phrase transition blush. And for many viewers, that is when they stopped feeling like simple inspiration, because critics felt like a larger and more established figure in the beauty industry was commercializing and profiting from a style heavily associated with a smaller black creator. Now, of course, people pushed back and argued makeup techniques cannot be owned. Trends evolve collectively, and blush draping has existed for decades. So very quickly, the debate became less about legality, but more about ethics. But then, the controversy became even more intense once Esther decided to share her own experience. According to Esther, someone allegedly connected Patrick Tar's team, booked a makeup appointment while she was in LA, but according to her, the appointment later shifted into requests involving filming and observing her process in more detail. Esther explained that she separates client work from educational work, like masterclasses and teaching sessions, so she ultimately cancelled the appointment because, clearly something was off. And once people heard the story, the internet immediately started connecting the dots, because shortly afterwards, Patrick's Transition Blush campaign launched. Now, to be clear, there is no public proof that Patrick Tar directly copied Esther's work, but online perception matters. And to many people, the timing looked really suspicious enough to intensify, criticism. And honestly, I could also see why. Because why are you booking this woman and then you're not being forthcoming about what exactly it is you're trying to achieve? Because I think they knew deep down that if they were to tell her that, well, it's for something that we're working on, she would probably ask for a piece of the pie, which I don't think that it would have costed them that much. Imagine how iconic it would have been for Patrick Tar to actually collaborate with Esther instead of staking her like this. That thing would have sold out in hours. Look at what just happening. Okay, now I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself because, it came out that Esther was actually working on something with Mac. But let's hear what people had to say.
Patrick Ta, a Vietnamese makeup artist and CEO of Patrick Ta Beauty, claimed he created this new 3-step blush routine that he supposedly spent a year and a half developing. Meanwhile, we all caught him in 4K, copy painted by Esther's technique, word for word, bar for bar. And as you can see from the clips, it looks nearly identical to the same technique he claims he was doing before Esther. Patrick claims he's been doing this technique since 2021. Meanwhile, Esther reposted proof of her work dating back to 2019. So no, this doesn't come across as coincidence or harmless inspiration. You were caught blatantly recreating her exact technique while trying to repackage it as your own innovation. And honestly, the most disrespectful part is the trademarking. Because let's be real, you don't trademark something unless you know there's value in it and want ownership over it. That's why this situation feels so grimy to many people and I. It comes across as seeing another artist's work, realizing its potential, and trying to secure legal ownership before the original creator gets proper credit. And the irony of all of this is, someone from Patrick's camp booked with Esther and tried to record her doing the makeup beforehand. As a Vietnamese person myself, this is embarrassing, especially because people of color already know what it feels like to be undermined in industries like beauty, and Black women in particular have continuously had their artistry copied, monetized, and discredited, while rarely being acknowledged as the blueprint, nor compensated for their worth.
There is drama amongst the makeup artists, and I only use Alandria's picture because I know a lot of Alandria stans follow me, but y'all need to hear this because they are coming for Painted by Esther. Painted by Esther posted a TikTok literally crying and shaking, talking about how makeup artist Patrick Ta stole a technique that she has popularized. I won't say that she created it, but she popularized it. And now he's trying to profit off of it by selling a product for transitioning blushes. Now, if you've seen Painted by Esther's work, most popular on Alandria, but she's been doing this from years ago. Painted by Esther popularized the application of her blushes that make her clients look like this, or like this, or like this, or like this. You get my gist. I believe it's an Asian beauty technique that she popularized. However, Patrick Ta's people tried to book Painted by Esther so that she could show them her technique of doing her makeup, and they asked her to record last minute and she canceled. And now Patrick Ta is coming out with transitioning blushes to market and claiming that he created the technique.
This is my brand new transition blush. I created a 3-step blush technique to give you flawless blush every single time.
After some backlash, he finally made a video today with this caption saying, I started working on transition blush 1.5 years ago. I wanted to create a product that was specifically made for this blush look. I do not own this look, nor does Painted by Esther. She is amazing and so talented. She popularized this look through her work and through Alandria. I also have been doing this blush look since 2021, not the same as Esther, but my own version. I'm a makeup artist. For context, I filmed this video on March 5th. I have nothing but love and respect for Esther. Alandria might have gotten the technique poppin' because she's that girl right now, but Esther been doing this, okay? This was from 2019 where Esther posted this. She said, posting this because I want brown/dark skinned girls to see how blush hugs and balances our skin tone / our features. Cream blush to map out, powder blush to set. Blush was made for us. And now you have Patrick Ta trying out his transition blushes on dark skin and brown skin women, with his cream blush and his powder blush afterwards. Isn't that something? The comments are very unforgiving though. Someone said, come on Christopher Columbus, money grab. You can transition blush with blushes you already own. That is true. He's over here selling blush for how much? Okay, and you can do the same technique that I guess Patrick Ta and Esther don't own with your little $8 blush from CVS. So do not give this man your...
Now here's where things take another turn, because somehow a huge amount of public frustration shifted from Patrick Ta and towards Aina. And to be honest, this is the part of the controversy that I find most interesting. Because technically, Patrick is the one at the center of all these allegations. So why are so many people more emotionally upset with Aina? I think the answer has less to do with makeup, but more to do with expectations. Enter the conversation today. Influencer activism. Over the years, Jakey built a reputation as someone willing to publicly advocate for Black women in beauty spaces. People remember her calling out brands for excluding deeper foundation shades, speaking on inclusivity, criticizing brands when Black creators were overlooked, calling out, for example, Juvia's Place, addressing the recent L'Oreal Paris face card campaign.
e.l.f. Cosmetics stole my likeness, and stole my brand. Face card never declines.
Elf, come to the play. We're talking about you. I actually really hate when brands do this, especially when it's a brand that we know have coined, have budget. I actually reached out to this creator in 2024 because I got a campaign from Lancome, and Lancome was a brand that I had worked with several times before. And the whole concept of the campaign that they had offered to me was like face card never decline. And they sent me like a metal face card, and I was supposed to go to an Ulta and redeem the face card and kind of like act out her whole ploy. It was literally kind of like to a T her whole idea. And then when they initially pitched it to me, I was like, I know I've seen this idea before. It was everywhere at the time. It was kind of unavoidable, but I just don't know who the originator was. So I was like, let me get back to y'all. Let me find the originator. And then I think we need to like, I'm not going to get paid to do someone else's idea, so we're going to have to figure this out. They were really open and welcoming to that idea. And not only that, they allowed me to give her the credit, but they also offered her a campaign. So we both actually were able to get Lancome campaigns off of a singular campaign that was initially just pitched to me. I'm not a beauty brand founder, but I am a person who knows that credit is important and that if I'm getting paid for an idea, so should the originator of it. There's like no ifs, ands, or buts. It is absolutely fundamentally never something that I would do for a brand or with a brand while skirting through or not allowing the person who came up with an idea to be involved in one way or another, period. And when we talk about diversity and inclusion, y'all's favorite new slur word, I don't just care about what products to put on your shelves. I care about instances like these where we're not ignoring the very obvious pay gap that exists for Black women in the beauty industry in particular. So if I'm getting paid for someone else's idea, the person who created it will be getting paid too. That is what I consider equity and inclusion. Everybody and their mama uses verbiage like face card never declines. It's really nothing to include the originator of this trend, Elf, especially if you're going to do something like a big budget campaign like a commercial. I mean, it's just honestly blatant disrespectful. Y'all better start talking to the marketing team or the agency that pitched this campaign, all of the different channels that this had to go through to get approved, because this is absolutely unacceptable. If you can't include the originator, guess what? You come up with a better concept. You come up with something else. At this point, pay my good sis for the inconvenience. And yeah, Team Yane, because y'all absolutely have her effed up. And y'all are already on thin ice for that edge control gel y'all came out with and sent it to no Black people. Let's not even go there.
And even speaking on situations outside of makeup, like James Charles mocking a Spirit Airlines employee online.
Good morning, James. I know you'll probably never see this, but if you could just take 1 minute to read it, would really mean a lot to me. I'm really struggling right now because Spirit Airlines just filed for bankruptcy and I have lost my job. Here's the GoFundMe link. Any donations help. I'm sure they do, sweetheart. I'm sure they do. You know what else would help you? Getting another job.
Jobless behavior, by the way. On his part, very jobless behavior on James Charles' part. James and I are considered peers. I'm a content creator. He's a content creator. I'm a founder. He is a founder. We are technically considered peers. I normally like to mind my business. I don't like to come after other creators. This is probably one of the, I thought this was fake. Is this fake? I don't think James has ever had a real job. I don't think he's ever had a job that isn't social media, that isn't an independent contractor. I don't think he's ever clocked in. I don't think he's ever had a W-2. I don't think he's ever done any of that. The way you're talking to this person shows, and it's very disgusting and it's very inappropriate.
So naturally, people assumed she would approach the Painted by Esther situation the same way. But when she didn't, disappointment entered the conversation, because to many viewers, it suddenly felt like, wait, when is activism consistent and when is it selective? Because to be honest, I woke up one day, it was about Patrick Tar and of course Painted by Esther. And the next thing is JK Aina. You would really think that she's the one who actually created the makeup brand. But when you actually take time to observe and understand the nuance within this, you will understand why it might seem like people are more concerned about her stance than what Patrick Tar actually did.
Unfortunately, when you have unintentionally made yourself the face for standing up for injustice against Black women, especially like in the beauty space, in the makeup space or whatever beauty related, you just don't have the luxury of picking and choosing which injustice you're going to speak out for. Now, walk with me here, please. Because as somebody who follows Jackie, the video showcasing Patrick Tar's products in light of what's going on with him biting off of Painted by Esther was definitely distasteful. And I'm here for the accountability, but what I will not be here for is you guys trying to cancel another Black woman because of what this Asian man did. So in as much as you guys want to hold her accountable, just show a little grace. She have contractual obligations to fill. A paycheck is a paycheck. This is why some beauty creators, they just post their transitional videos, they post their makeup videos, and they don't even talk to us. They don't even talk to us because they know that you're damned if you do and you are damned if you don't. When it comes to this topic of Jackie Aina picking and choosing, it's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, because especially when she just called out Elf, calling out James Charles, calling out people, we would like for her to call out everybody. Again, she has contractual obligations to fulfill. So once you guys know that, you guys will have peace.
And this is where the conversation gets uncomfortable. because a lot of people are now questioning, is it activism when there is nothing personally at risk? Think about it. In many of the situations that Jackie previously spoke on, there arguably wasn't really much for her to lose socially or professionally. But this particular situation, it feels a little bit different, okay? Because look, Patrick Tar is deeply connected within the beauty industry, and there are friendships, business relationships, PR relationships, networking relationships, and suddenly the tone became, oh, well, I do not want to get involved. I think there was even a comment where she said to her followers that I don't look at you as my fans. But the thing with Jackie is it gets interesting and confusing really quickly because, yeah, some of the clapbacks and responses really leave you with a lot of questions as to what exactly will be going down. Now, to be fair, that doesn't automatically make Jackie Aina a bad person because the reality is human beings are selfish sometimes, or maybe even most times. Not always maliciously, not always intentionally, just, humanly. People naturally protect relationships, opportunities, comfort, reputation, access, and personal benefits. And even activists struggle with this. I mean, there's a reason why journalists disclose conflict of interest. And there's also a reason why even legal professionals avoid cases involving personal connections. Because, I mean, separating personal interests from moral positions is genuinely difficult. And honestly, most of us would probably struggle with the exact same thing. That's what makes this conversation complicated.
Don't come for me because I know how you girls like to tussle. But if I were to say that Jackie Aina is basically the Lena Dunham of the black girl makeup community, what then? Well, I said it and I'm taking it back. She does more harm than good. And anytime she does do something good, it's for self-preservation. No other reason. Anyway, go ahead. Try and crucify me in the comment section.
I'm about to do my wash and go, but for the people that don't understand why it's been so hard for the black girls to let go of Jackie Aina and to really see through her bullshit for so long, y'all have to understand this woman has made a career off of calling brands out for not being inclusive to black women, especially black women of a darker shade, for not paying black women, for not collaborating the same amount as they would with white women. Like, she has built her career on this shit. That's why, like, people haven't been able to let her go. It took me a while to see through her as well. But that Patrick Tosh shit that she pulled last year was the last straw for me personally. I even was with her with the don't call me auntie shit, even though she started the whole call me auntie shit. But last year, when she was supporting him after he literally had been just called out by multiple black makeup artists and multiple black influencers for not paying them, this lady sat her ass on this app and promoted those blushes. Those same blushes, she promoted those blushes. Well, no, it's a different blush, but still, she promoted his blushes. Because I think that's the only thing that Patrick Tar is known for. I heard the rest of the line is garbage. I wouldn't know. I don't support him. That was the very last straw for me. And like I said, I'm pretty sure even now, there's still going to be a lot of black women that are brainwashed by her in all of her issues. It's because this lady was in the field. She was advocating, doing all the things on YouTube. That's where her massive following came from. It did not come from TikTok. It's all the girlies that missed her on YouTube followed her to TikTok. But that's why nobody has been able to see through her bullshit. That's why. And then now her saying that basically she's not going to fight anyone's battles or she's not going to call brands out. Girl, please. And I also saw the little video that she posted about Juvia's place. Babe, the plot, you, please. And she also supports Huda Beauty. Yeah, so if y'all wanted to know why, that's why people are not able to see through her bullshit.
But then Jackie's response added even more fuel to the fire because many viewers felt like she was deflecting criticism by bringing up the situation with Juvia's Place. Basically saying that while some people still support Juvia's Place despite her fallout with the brand. And some fans viewed her response as essentially saying, well, Esther still uses Juvia's Place, so why should I speak up? And that's where many people became even more frustrated because critics started asking, if activism becomes dependent on personal relationships, was it ever truly about protecting Black women as a whole, or only the Black women you like? That is, yourself. This part matters because there were people, real people, who stopped supporting Juvia's Place after Jackie spoke about her experience with the brand. There were viewers who genuinely believed they were standing in solidarity with a Black woman who felt disrespected. So now some supporters feel confused because they are asking, wait, did our support actually matter? And I mean, honestly, I understand why some viewers feel conflicted, not because necessarily Jakey owes the internet perfection, but because once you build a public identity around advocacy, people begin associating you with certain moral expectations, fair or unfair. But maybe I should correct myself here because Jakey herself even said in her comment that she didn't build a brand around advocacy, that she was not even speaking up like that as a brand, and if anything, she lost and didn't benefit from activism. So for me, the mere fact that she's looking at activism as something that was costing her so much that she would even discredit or dismiss the support that she got from fellow Black women by saying that activism did the opposite for her. So you're telling us that the Black women who are supporting you mean nothing to you. As long as something does not immediately result in financial gain, it means that nothing was benefited from that. So it's all about the financial gains, the support that you got. Maybe not in monetary value from Black women, those that stopped to buy from Juvia's Place. You're ultimately telling people that, well, that doesn't count. I lost so much. I didn't gain anything from activism. That's interesting. But I also think that the situation exposes another issue entirely. Maybe we expect too much from influencers in general, because somewhere along the line, social media began to mistaken visibility for virtue. Just because someone has a platform doesn't automatically mean that they are more compassionate, more selfless, more morally consistent, or more emotionally evolved than the average person. Influencers are still regular people with biases, insecurities, friendships, emotions, egos, and personal interests. And honestly, most of us are inconsistent too. A lot of people online are criticizing Jakey for selective outrage, while simultaneously showing selective outrage themselves. Because again, why are some people more angry at Jakey than Patrick Tar? Why does disappointment in an ally sometimes hurt more than opposition from somebody we never expected solidarity from, in the first place? And I've noticed the same pattern in politics too. Sometimes people become more enraged at supporters of a political leader than the actual leader themselves. Why? Because betrayal feels emotionally personal. People expected opposition from people like Patrick Tam, but from Jackie, they expected solidarity. And when expectation collides with disappointment, the emotional reaction becomes much stronger. So I don't know. Could we say that is also selective outrage? Or this one is different? It's, an ally who simply seemingly sold out.
I'm not new to the game. I've always been true to the game, and you guys brought me to retirement for this. Like, to piggyback off my video about Jackie Aina and how much she loves her fan base, I just want to prove to you how affordable Juvia's Place is. So one of Juvia's Place palettes on sale is for $14, and this will last you a lifetime, and the color ranges are exceptional to choose from. What's his name? Patrick Tar blush costs you $40. So $40 compared to $14. All right, that's just one product. The cream blush from Juvia's Place costs $12.60, And when I go on Patrick Tar's website, it is $34 for one of this. $34, okay? We're talking about affordability and quality of product. And products that match persons who look like me and Jackie Aina, darker and lighter. On the Juvia's Place website currently, a blush trial is for $37.60. $37.60 for these that could last you a lifetime. While when I go on Patrick Tar's bundle, it's telling me that you could get a bundle for $88. And we're talking about affordability here, right? I've been around this game for a very long time. And I have my own products. I have my own powders. And one of the things that I've learned as an entrepreneur is that persons who follow you as an influencer, they're just regular people. They're not persons who are looking to garner a lot of makeup or they want to spend on the most expensive. Some people just want to look good for a reasonable price. And there are many kinds of brands out here, high-end, low-end, middle, that cater to our needs. And for me personally, I try to put the most affordable product out there and give it the best technique for you to use as an average person. And that is the problem that I'm having with Jackie Aina, is like, who are your target audience? Because the average person that follows you are just regular people, people who look like me, who look like you, who are darker and who are lighter. So who is the target audience? Is your pocket, or do you actually care about the people? And that's always been my question. Who do you rock with? The Benjamin Franklin or your actual fans or people who follow you? Because it's giving, I don't really give a damn about what's happening. I just want to line my pockets.
So here's the thing. I'm never going to support Juvia's Place. There's never going to be a scenario where I will turn on my camera or my phone, recommend the products, endorse the brand, ever. I don't even really like mentioning the brand because they've proven before they cannot take constructive criticism from me specifically. I'm also never going to tell you guys collectively as consumers and as viewers to use or to not use a brand. If you feel a way about Patrick Ta, Patrick's cool, but that's your business. It is not my job to fight his battles, and it never will be. If you guys collectively don't want to support Patrick as a brand, you absolutely have that right. But what I think is extremely ironic and problematic, and you know there's an issue when I get to pointing that finger, you will absolutely not call me a sellout. You will absolutely not call me a hypocrite. You will absolutely not say that I pick and choose while also name dropping Juvia's Place in my comment section. You absolutely not. I will absolutely remind y'all, absolutely not. Because it sounds and looks crazy. Now again, I really don't typically care about what y'all use as consumers. When the founder said what she said about me, which was absolutely deplorable and disgusting, mind you, in response to a comment that was very professional. If you know, you know. If you were there, you were there. If you weren't there, you probably shouldn't be in this discourse in the first place. And if you're confused, this is in regards to my last video. I don't normally tell people what to do because it's not my place to. But if you're gonna tell me what I should not be using, you for damn sure better keep Juvia's Place out of my comment section. Because the hypocrisy and the irony is very loud. Speaking of pick and choose, it's very loud, very loud. And I'm not the only person who had an issue with Juvia's Place, but y'all do love them blushes though, don't you? Right. Hey twin, yes, it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. All I'm hearing in my last video is that it's absolutely okay to disrespect me. Somehow I'm supposed to be immune to it. Somehow I'm supposed to look past it and let it go. But you want me to be at the forefront of every crusade for everybody else. Y'all, I keep trying to tell you I am a person and you will treat me accordingly, regardless of whether you agree with or not. It's really not for debate. I really don't care. If I don't support a brand, I'm not going to write for them. And no, I absolutely will not platform a brand that has categorically disrespected a number of different Black women, myself included. When we talk about disrespecting Black women, I'm included in that discourse, period. Any other questions? Like, I'm confused on how so many of y'all are confused. There were way too many layers of discourse to this new launch from Patrick Ta. This is the specific one that I have a problem with. I genuinely have a problem with people holding me to a standard that they refuse to hold themselves to. So a lot of y'all need to start looking inward. That starts right now. Actually, it started like maybe a year ago, but no, you will not come on my page and bark orders at me and demand things of me that a lot of y'all don't even do yourselves. So while y'all continue, I won't be. Good luck.
And maybe that is the real conversation here. Not just makeup drama, not just blush placement, not even just influencer activism, but the uncomfortable reality that human beings are emotional, biased, self-interested, and inconsistent, including influencers, including activists, including all of us. There's actually a quote attributed to philosophers and political thinkers over the years, throughout history. Human beings are naturally self-interested. And honestly, social media keeps proving that over and over again. That doesn't mean accountability shouldn't exist, but maybe it does mean we should stop placing influencers on moral pedestals they were never realistically capable of maintaining. Because eventually, every public figure disappoints somebody, and maybe the internet keeps learning the same lesson over and over again. Because let's not forget that visibility does not equal virtue. If I'm a short tempered person, just because I'm now speaking to you guys on YouTube right now, doesn't mean that, well, that has gotten away. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden I'm going to stop being short tempered. I'm still the same person. It is very clear that at this point, the Patrick Tar, Jackie Aina, and Painted by Esther story is more than just entertainment and makeup drama. It is now a conversation about influence, consistency, influence, loyalty, activism, audience expectations, and the complicated reality of human behavior. But I want to know what you think. Do you think that people are being too hard on Jackie? Do you think that the audience had valid expectations? Should influencers be held accountable for selective activism? Or are we putting unrealistic expectations on internet personalities? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, do not forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share. Just say something in the comment section, and I will be glad to have this discourse with you. Until my next one, see you.